What is my friend Amyx here, and I'm a life coach, helps hungry leaders create their best life, navigate the challenges of marriage, and heal from past pain and experience more joy. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to stay updated on all of our new content. And in today's video, I want to share something with you that's basically just really close to my heart, which is how magic mushrooms have changed my life. Now, just a quick disclaimer, this video is purely educational and it's completely based upon my own personal experience. So I'm not endorsing or encouraging the use of psychedelic substances. And so please just make sure you follow the law, consult with a professional if you're considering any form of some type of therapeutic treatment. First things first, let's understand what magic mushrooms or psilocybin mushrooms are. First of all, they're a type of fungus that contains psilocybin, which is a naturally occurring psychedelic compound. And for thousands and thousands of years, mushrooms all over the world have been used in religious rituals and for spiritual awakening. And some theories even speculate that there was like this psychedelic brew that may been used for the first Eucharist, but who knows, right? But what we do know is psychedelics, when used in the right setting and in the right environment and with expert guidance, they can totally lead to a lot of healing, a lot of growth, and collapse a ton of time. Now let's rewind a little bit. Before my experience with magic mushrooms, I was struggling like bad. I was stuck in a cycle of this very negative thoughts. In fact, I was visualizing myself blowing my head off with a shotgun. And despite all of my tools and self-help practices, I just couldn't find a way to break out of it. And come to find out, I was struggling with postpartum depression after the birth of my daughter, which, by the way, if you don't know, 1 in 10 men struggle with postpartum depression, just in case you don't know that. Now, once I admitted to myself that I needed some help, which, by the way, I have no shame admitting like, hey, I'm struggling here, I need some help. I'd recommend if you're there, do the same thing. So once I admitted that I needed some help, I did 8 weeks of EMDR therapy, which helped just kind of move me out of the pits of postpartum depression. And then I felt led to psilocybin, which at the time was just like, what is this crazy to me? So I reached out to a high-level coach I knew who could help me with the medicine journey using psilocybin. So my use of magic mushrooms, it wasn't what you might imagine. Like there was no wild party, there was no crazy reckless behavior. I just wasn't interested in any of that stuff. Instead, my experience was very controlled and very like a therapeutic experience. My journey was well planned out. And for me, it was for a very specific purpose. And so I rented an amazing Airbnb in Weatherford, Texas, and it overlooked 800 acres of dairy land. It was just amazing. And the experience itself, it's kind of a bit hard to put into words, but I'll do my best. It was intense, it was enlightening, and surprisingly, it was a ton of fun. I remember when the shrooms first started kicking in about 35 minutes in, I was laying there on this hilltop. I was overlooking this 800 acres of dairy cows, and I lay there breathing in and breathing out, and then all of a sudden, my spirit just started to drift up and up and up and up and up. And as I was drifting up, I saw all of this imagery of dragons and ancient Chinese warriors and kingdoms. And then this feeling, and for me, it was a voice, but it was a feeling. It said, do you want it to die? And I was like, sure. And then the voice said, breathe. And so then I just breathed, took a deep breath in and deep breath out. And then my spirit started to float even more and more and more and more up until I became one with this like semi-solid magenta blob looking thing, kind of like flubber or something. And in that semi-solid magenta blob, I felt one with everything. Like in that place, time didn't exist. Everything was just blissfully perfect. I saw this blob express itself as my good friend, Jonathan Heston. I saw that blob express itself as my good friend, Christopher John Stubbs. And then I even saw that blob express itself as my father. And in a single moment, I realized like at our cores, we're all the same. Me, Jonathan, my father, like we're all the same thing. We are that semi-solid blob thing, like we're love, we're consciousness, yet at the same time, we're also ourselves. And I also remember that voice said at some point, like there's no more wells. When it said that, all of the wells, like these, like a water well type thing, right? All of these things, these wells in my body, mind, my spirit, they're just like gone, like it's vanished. You see, prior to this, when I was doing EMDR therapy, I felt like I was sitting at the bottom of this dark well. And at the time, after my daughter was born, I felt like I was just sitting in the bottom of that dark well. I just didn't want to get up out of that well. Like I didn't want to climb out of the well. I could see the light at the top, but I was just in this place in life where I was just like I just want to sit here in the bottom of this dark, dingy well and just be miserable. It's kind of where I was at. After 8 weeks of EMDR therapy, like it totally helped. It helped guide me out of that well. And I remember telling my therapist at the time, I was like, man, I never want to go back in that well. In fact, I want to find a way to pour concrete into that thing That way I never ever go back in the bottom of that pit. And I also remember telling her, I was like, I'm assuming that there's going to be more wells in life, and I just don't want to go back in this one. But in this medicine journey, the voice said, there's no more wells. And as the voice spoke to me, all of the wells that ever could be, they were just gone. And then the voice said, the only reason the well appeared in the first place is because you forgot who you were. And for as long as you remember who you are, then there's never going to be any more wells to fall into. And for whatever reason, and to this day, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I knew this to be true on that journey. And I can tell you looking back, like there just hasn't been any more wells for me. My journey was very, very powerful for me. And even to this day, it's a big reason I do the work that I do. It's a big reason I feel I'm here to help people remember who they are. And I found every single time someone is struggling with something in their life, right? It's just because they've forgotten who they are. And then when I can help them remember, like at their core, who they are, from that place, they can pick themselves up from whatever pit they're in and go forth and create amazing results for themselves and those that they care about. You know, after the experience, I can tell you, like, I personally was changed forever. Like, for one, I wasn't gripped with postpartum depression anymore. Like, that was 100% gone after that single dosage of 5 grams. And I started experiencing life from like just a more positive perspective, a very connected space. It was like this veil had been lifted and I could see myself and the world more clearly. And in fact, my relationship with my daughter actually improved a whole lot as well. Before that journey, I'd look at my newborn daughter and I'd think to myself, I'd be like, man, she doesn't care if I'm here or not. But then after that journey, I would look at her with wonder and connection and joy. And I also felt more creative and empowered. And most importantly, I felt like I was back in control of creating my life again. Now, as amazing as psilocybin has been for me, I think it's really important to remember that magic mushrooms aren't some miracle cure for every single person. Like with any therapy or any transformational tool, they're a tool, right? But it doesn't work the same for every single person. Every journey is different. And it's also crucial to note that in many places, like, they're illegal, you know what I mean? So please always consult with a professional if you're considering this path. And I can go on and on and on about the benefits of mushrooms and psilocybin when used in the right space and with the right intention, and when you regard them like as sacred and you treat them as such. But I'll let you find out if you're pulled into that and let you see what's next for you around this topic. So that's what I have for you in today's video. And now I want to hear from you. Like, if you've had a journey and if it's changed your life, like, share in the comments below. If you have questions, share in the comments below. And I just really hope that you found my story insightful. And please remember, I'm not here promoting drug use. You know, I'm just here shedding light on alternative therapies and my personal experience with these tools. So do your own research, always prioritize your own well-being around this stuff. And if you found this video helpful, share it with your friends, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, my friend, I'm out. Peace.